I totally think we'll start getting more and more conversations like this, especially because the next wave of entertainers, musicians, actors, they're nerds and it's dope. Like Megan the Stallion literally does cosplay, and I think like as we start to see cosplay just become more mainstream or just public, or at least more visible to people, and less of like this again like almost elitist practice where it's like a certain group only does it and no one else can join. As we begin to see that kind of diversification of people who participate in it, it's inevitable that we'll run up into the issues that are there, and people will have opinions for sure, and that's when the communication inevitably has to happen. It's when you run up when there's conflict in ideology. I think that's healthy. I think as long as it's done in a healthy way, that's fine. But I think a lot of people who are opposed to people with disabilities, trans people, POC participate in that community, they don't really have much of a leg to stand on. It's hard to go like, you can't do this. And then someone will just ask you why, and you don't really have a good reason. There's usually the argument of like canon, it's canon. It's like, come on. It's an adaptation. Canon never mattered in the first place. It's so ridiculous to me. But yeah, I think cosplay is definitely going to keep growing. We look at something like Avengers, and it made so much money, and it's becoming kind of standard. Like the actual want to be a superhero is so basic and normal now, and we never imagined it could be like 5 years ago. But now we go see Thanos win or lose for like billions of dollars in the box office. I don't see any reason why that can't happen to anime and to cosplay as a inevitable association. It just needs that kind of one spark in pop culture to kick it off. I don't think we quite have that in the live action sphere, and I think live action is kind of the catalyst for cosplay because people go see Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey and they dress up like Harley Quinn. I saw like 8 million Harley Quinns. It just takes like that one show or that one movie that's adapted from something else to really take people's imaginations, and all of a sudden cosplay is everywhere. We have a Cowboy Bebop TV show coming out in like 2 months. Really nervous about it,
Me
but
too. Me too.
really I love Bebop, so I please be good. But if it comes out and it's a hit, that's a wrap. Like you'll start seeing jet blacks everywhere. You'll start seeing spikes, and that's pretty cool. I don't know if it'll be Bebop on the real, but we'll see. But I think inevitably there will be something that kind of gets that standardization and that openness and just bust the gates wide open for cosplay.
I hope so too. I agree with you. The way things are growing so much, it just I would love to see the conversations and also like the entertainment side of it grow to points that I only imagined as a kid. Like I don't know if everything is going to be a great adaptation. Ghost in the Shell movie had its
Oh,
moments, I guess.
it's
But
heartbreaking.
like maybe Bebop is going to be good. Maybe someday we get like a great FMA adaptation. You never know. I
Mhm.
would love to see the direction anime goes in because anime, gaming, cosplay, streaming, they're all intertwined and they all grow with each other. So I can't wait to see what comes next.
For sure, for sure. I'm happy you even brought up streaming. Isn't today like a blackout day or something? Or was that yesterday for Twitch? Um,
Is there? I've been so caught up with work over the last like week.
oh, no
A
worries.
week in Twitch is like a year in Twitch. What have I missed? Tell me about it.
So it's kind of similar to TikTok, where it's like a lot of POC creatives are just, not streaming for like a day to protest just algorithmic, mistreatment and just not being credited for their work. I think it was either today or yesterday. Pandemic days blend together, so I don't remember exactly which day it was, but yeah, like we're already beginning to have conversations like that, on streaming, and I think it's inevitable that cosplay will have that conversation too. It needs to, frankly, especially as bigger companies come into cosplay and start digging around there. Like, so there's been a lot of performative activism, right? So a lot of big companies are like, oh, we're totally, pro social justice, and they never cared before, but they see that there's money in it now. So if they go into cosplay after that spark and they see that it's just a minefield of anti, like, progressive ideology, they're gonna say something, and they're gonna, highlight people who make them look good. So I think inevitably, people who are progressive with their ideology in cosplay are going to be elevated, and the conversation will inevitably happen because companies don't like to be on the wrong side of history, even though they are all the time. They're really late to it. But I think that
That's an understatement.
yeah, right. Once the sponsorship starts to happen and the deals start to happen, I think the change will be a lot faster than any of us will really anticipate. So, stay tuned, man.